Welcome back to the Chirosation, where chiropractors share their stories and lessons learned in practice. The intention of the Chirosation is to provide resources and a community that will help chiropractors realize their innate potential. So join the Chirosation today. In this episode, I have a conversation with Dr Bronwyn Hunt about her journey as a chiropractor so far. She shares how she discovered chiropractic and moved halfway across the world from Canada to New Zealand to study. She is now a Canadian abroad, crushing it in early practice in South Auckland. During this conversation, she shares her experience of settling and working in a new country and how she has grown along the way. I had a great time reconnecting with Bronwyn, and I'm sure you will love her story. So without further ado, welcome to the Chirosation, and this is where the conversation starts. So welcome, this is episode 8 of the Chirosation with Dr Bronwyn Hunt, who's all the way from Canada, now in New Zealand, going to share her story so far. So Bronwyn, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure. I'm really excited to have you on today. The first thing I wanted to ask is, what got you into chiropractic?
I was, funny story, living on my friend's couch at the time, and she's a physiotherapist, and she was the one who recommended, hey, you should look into chiropractic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And from there, looked into it. I was like, holy smokes, I gotta study this. I gotta be a chiropractor. I hadn't been adjusted. I decided I wanted to be a chiropractor before I even got adjusted.
That's awesome. Me too. My first ever adjustment was in the internship, like halfway through first year, when I was given my intern. I was like, all right, adjustment time.
I love it.
Yeah. So where was this?
This was in Canada. This was in Toronto. Yeah, I was staying on her couch, and I was just kind of reassessing, okay, what I'm going to do. I always wanted to be a physio, and I love physios. And living with a physio, I heard kind of her daily kind of frustrations or challenges, and it was a lot of that her patients weren't getting well because they weren't doing their exercise, they weren't doing stretches. And I can relate. When I was under physio with multiple injuries with growing up playing soccer, I was probably a typical athlete patient of, I just wanted to, get back in the game. I didn't mind playing injured, but doing my stretches and exercises kind of was on the back seat. I just wanted to play. So I can understand that a lot of people don't like to do that. So when she said, okay, well, what do you like about healthcare? I mentioned that I had some experience with basic manipulations that I learned through being an athletic trainer, like a student athletic trainer, I shouldn't say athletic trainer, for the UBC soccer girls. And I was always so fascinated and blown away that if I checked their pelvis or their hips, pretty much the majority of the time, if there was like a quad, a hamstring, a hip flexor injury, or something was tight, if I did a manipulation, it would change instantaneously. Like it was just like strength, range of motion, proprioception, just everything just changed instantly. And you didn't have to have any surgery or any drugs or anything. It was just like, wow, what is this? So my friend who was a physio, she was saying, oh, well, I think chiropractic does something like that. I'm not really sure. You should look into it. And I did. And then I researched schools. I thought that New Zealand would be the best. And I am so grateful that I ended up here.
That's amazing. So obviously researching schools, you were in Canada at the time, CMCC was an option for you. So what made you pick New Zealand? Where did that adventurous spirit come from?
I guess I have definitely got the travel bug, and I love traveling. New Zealand was always on the list. I knew some Kiwis because I used to spend some time doing snowboard seasons, and I met a few awesome Kiwis along the way. So I kind of felt, and I'd been to New Zealand when I was 3, but you can't really use that as a gauge. But I always felt that New Zealand people and the culture would be a similar transition. And researching schools, I just really liked what I saw, what I read, and when I talked to other chiros. A chiro in Vancouver recommended, I said, if you did everything, if you knew what you know now and you did everything over again, what school would you go to, regardless of what school you went to? And he said, oh, easy, New Zealand. So when I started looking into it, I went on the website and I saw a video of Dr. Eric Russell, who was the president at the time. And he basically said what I needed to hear. We're not going to be the biggest, but we're going to be the best. And I wanted to be the best, so I wanted to be there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. So bought tickets, came over. Did you know anyone? How did you set up?
I was pretty fortunate. Through my UBC connection, one of the girls I played with was doing a further post-education or grad school, essentially. And she picked me up from the airport and we hung out for the weekend. And then I basically got dropped at my doorstep. And from there, she lived on the North Shore, so there was a bit of a drive. I didn't have a car. It was a little hard, but still made time to hang out with her. And I'm so grateful that she was there. And we were great friends when we were together in Auckland doing some surf trips. But apart from Sarah, didn't really have too many connections in New Zealand. So, as you know, the school is just family, and you just feel so welcomed right from the get-go. And actually, the first day I moved into the flat that I'm still in, and it's so rare. It is so rare. For 5 years, I've been living in the same place. And I moved in with Chiro students, and next door, there were Chiro students. And I moved in, and I had my 2 suitcases, my snowboard bag and my suitcase, and that was it. And I'm setting up my room, and the house is kind of calm. There's no flatmates home, but the next door neighbors, they ended up coming over, and one by one they just keep coming through the door with plates of food, and they, hey, we're having a potluck. It's like, oh, okay. And you feel so welcomed right from the get-go.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously went through college, met a man.
Yeah.
So you ended up staying.
Yeah.
And what's that experience been like? I mean, well, going through college, what were you thinking you were going to do? Were you thinking you were going to go back to Canada?
I honestly, I didn't know right from the get-go. I always have, thanks to my parents with their support and my family and my friends, I've always followed kind of hopes and dreams, and it took me halfway around the world. So I leave it up to kind of going with the flow, but then also if I have a passion or a drive, or you just have that voice inside your head or your gut, I go with it. So when I started school, everyone was saying, oh, you're never going to come back, or oh, the opposite, or you're going to come back, but you're going to be with a man, or you're going to, there's always the stories. So it was even in year 4, I didn't really know what I was going to do. And I met the practice owners at Lyceum, the NZCC Lyceum Ball, and from there it started to kind of come together where I was going to be. But yeah, it was really the whole time I was in school, it was just a big question mark. Yeah.
Absolutely, because you were really involved in a lot of different kind of avenues, and I mean, you're part of the WCCS and you're part of the school. What was it, the council that you were the leader of? I forget what the name.
Yeah, the Chiropractors, Chiropractic Student Association.
That's it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're heavily involved with that. So you had plenty of opportunities, I imagine.
Yeah.
So it was really just what you felt the most drawn to at the end, right?
Yeah, having a partner in Auckland, studying at New Zealand College of Chiropractic and being 2 years below, I didn't want to do a half-time relationship of doing an associate or a locum and be away. I wanted to be in the Auckland area. So that really changed my decision when I really chose love. I chose love.
Yeah.
And
which is the correct choice.
Yeah, I think so. It's been working out so far.
Yeah.
Because I did have a really good connection with Chiro in the Mount, and amazing practitioner, and it would have been, I think if I was single, it was that gut kind of telling me, the little voice saying, hey, this is an interesting opportunity. But then when I really thought about it, I was like, no, I want to be in Auckland. And yeah. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
Long distance sucks. I did it for a while.
I don't know how you did it.
Lots of Skype.
I take
Unlimited
my hat
internet.
off to all the couples out there that do the long distance, because I have a bunch of friends that have done it, and it's amazing. So congratulations to you, because the numbers aren't in your favor for people who do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got there. You do it for love, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, obviously found this opportunity down in South Auckland. What has your experience of early practice been for the last 8-9 months?
Well, first off, I'm super grateful to be where I'm at. The team has been so supportive, and the surrounding chiropractors have been so welcoming. And for the listeners out there, Ben and I work very close proximity, I guess, and our two offices aren't connected, but the chiros at our offices and in our area, we get together. It's like roughly once a month, once every 2 months. And we get to do professional development and hang out and just connect, and it's great. And so there's so many bits that I've experienced already in practice where it's just the love and the support from patients, from family, from friends, from coworkers, colleagues, everything, the profession, that there's been just so many positives from it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite patient story that you've had so far?
Oh my gosh. There's a few. There's one.
We got time. Share.
Yeah, I know. One definitely comes to mind. This gentleman, he's one of my favorites, and we have a joke kind of ongoing, because he always comes in, how are you doing? 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. He just laughs, because he'll ask it and then he'll just start laughing because he knows what I'm going to say. But he came in with the classic lower back pain and didn't really know what was going on in the office and how chiropractic can help with way more than back pain. And anyway, so he started care, and right from his first appointment, he just felt so different. And then within a few appointments, his asthma of something like 40 years or something was almost completely gone.
Wow.
And there's so many great stories out there of those cases where you're just like, it's unpredictable. And that's the fun thing about what we do, is you can't predict how someone's going to respond to care. And he even didn't really mention the asthma. Like, he didn't really mention how his life was affected by that. It was so much that he was in pain from his lower back, and just, so there's so many great patients, but that one definitely comes to mind, and he's also one of my faves. And I know we're not supposed to have favorite patients, but
you 100% do. 100% do. It's just like you don't need to have favorite kids, but there's some that you just love a little bit more. No, but it's true. Well, they're the people that you kind of resonate more with, I think.
Yeah.
They're the ones who kind of get you as a chiropractor and the type of chiropractor that you specifically provide.
Yeah.
And so, he obviously loves coming in.
Yeah.
And has a laugh.
Well, I hope so. I think he does.
I'm sure he does. So what's been the biggest struggle that you've had in the last 9 months?
Going away, I went away for a family event, and when I came back, I went from kind of a steady growth in practice to, I think my patient base, maybe it went 50%. Like, it really dropped off, and it might have been seasonal because it was in winter, and as you know, some people just don't leave their house. So there's many different factors that could come into play, but I think the biggest challenge was just the mindset of, oh my gosh, no one wants to come in. Why is this happening? And going through, okay, what is going on in my professional life, my personal life, what's going on in practice? Why is this happening? And now there's the growth is coming back, but definitely that, what? Where did everyone go? We were doing so well.
Yeah.
And so I think that's been the biggest problem, or not problem, but learning experience.
Yeah. Because when you told me about this, it's something that I didn't even think about. So I'm really happy this was the thing that you chose, because I want to talk about it. Because how long were you away for?
I was away for a week. I think I missed...
Only a week?
Yeah, I think I missed maybe 5 shifts.
Yeah.
But it's like any healthcare profession. I think we talked about this a little bit, how people are very loyal to who they see. And this goes right across the board to personal trainers. I'm sure you guys and girls can appreciate this. It's, well, just hearing how many people, oh yeah, my trainer went away, I can take a week off. No, you can't. Yeah. Sure you can, but it's not the best for your health. And it's the same with chiropractic care. I'm very fortunate to have 2 amazing chiros who I work with. Down the street, Jody is amazing. There's other chiros like very, very close that people can continue their care with. But again, that loyalty, oh, well, you went away, I'm not gonna. And so when you get kind of that mentality, and then people just, and then they get the kind of excuses going or whatever reason, priorities change. So yeah, taking time off it's an interesting one. I hear though there are say trainers or chiros or any healthcare professional taking time off, and then their book or their schedule is totally like thriving when they get back, and so it can be good. I'm sure it can be good. So,
well, doing it again, what would you do differently so you didn't have that drop?
I honestly wouldn't do anything differently. I felt I learned so much from that experience, and I grew so much professionally and personally that I wouldn't change it. I would do that again if I. Oh,
not change it. I was thinking more because taking like did you have the other 2 chiros look after your patients while you were away? Like what was the thing that you set up?
Oh yeah, so that was the option basically. Like with care plans. I want people to stick with them because I well, as we touched on in the beginning, I moved over here for chiropractic. I left all my friends and family, and so whenever I care for someone in the office, they become one of my family members. So I provide care just like I would for my family. And when I recommend a care plan, it's normally with obviously the consideration of patient goals and kind of their perspective on what they want to get out of. But I always want to make sure that they're, getting care to be the best version of themselves, not just to get out of pain or to. So with that, when I went away, I said, hey, I'm going to be away. Please, like, if you want the best results, go see Dr. Chris, Dr. Christina. There's the options to continue care. And yeah, so from that, there were amazing patients that did keep it up. I'm not saying all my patients didn't come in that week. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of them changed their priorities.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've spoken to a few other people and they've definitely experienced the same thing. In that first year of practice, they took some time off and then came back. And I mean, even if it was only a week, the other person I was talking to, they were away for 2 weeks for their honeymoon and then came back and just practice had kind of died. And I was kind of curious about that. Like, it was that, do you feel like that was a mentality thing? Like, were you, because you were away energetically from the practice, is that why it kind of stopped the momentum and then you're going to have to build it back up again? Or,
maybe.
Or,
I guess.
I mean, like you said, maybe it was seasonal.
Yeah, I guess, as we touched on before, I think there's just so many reasons why something could happen and everything adds up. Just like maybe
who knows?
It's, we could try and guess at it. But again, I wouldn't change anything. I've learned so much from the experience, and now we get to share it, so other people will kind of have the heads up. And
and if that does happen, that's okay. They don't have to freak out. It's not unusual. Yeah, you just kind of have to.
But again, it won't happen to everyone. And maybe the next time I go away, I come back and it's thriving, and it's totally the opposite. Who knows?
Who knows? I haven't taken a break yet, so I'm hoping I'll be the latter, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So what are you doing at the moment, or what have you been doing? What different things have you been trying to market to grow your practice? Because did you walk into a patient base?
No, I started from zero.
Yeah, so me too.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
It is. It is. Oh, yeah. Any business owner or entrepreneur can appreciate the beginnings. It's there's hiccups along the way, but I guess I'm grateful for the college for kind of throwing me into the deep end in year 3. Okay, here you go. you got to do these requirements. And here's some opportunities. The college definitely gives opportunities with the screenings, and it's few and far between that you might get one in year 3, but year 4 you might get a few more. But they encourage you to go out and screen. So as a student, I was screening and I was doing health talks, and I found that I used it as kind of a bit of a playground of what kind of communication will I use today, or what will I focus on today, and having that mentality of just not really thinking, okay, I'm going to get a patient. It's more just can I actually communicate? And if it was, okay, you know what, I really want to provide care for an athlete, then how am I going to talk to an athlete? Or why is this good for an athlete to come in? And different kind of perspectives is interesting. So going back to your question about the marketing, I've done some screenings. I'm very fortunate to be in a location. We're just on the main street in Pukekohe at 35 King. And with that, if I had, say, a slow shift, I could easily just put a table at the front or like a chair and just talk to people on the street. I haven't done any screenings at any other locations. I've done a number of health talks, and I've been very fortunate to talk to an amazing group, Baby and You sessions, and let's see, I'm organizing some talks coming up. So I've got the Baby and You on Tuesday. I've got injury prevention talk in a week and a half. And then we do internal health talks for our patients as well. And then I'm going to be a speaker at a retreat in Thames beginning of November. And then I'm also going to be doing a talk with a group of pregnant moms and dads with a lactation consultant. So yeah, there's so many ways to get your name out or introduce people to chiropractic, and I want to go through kind of as many avenues. Again, I'm so early days into chiropractic, and I've never grown a business or started a business, so learning everything is super new, and it's always nice.
All on the fly, right?
Yeah.
You just try it and then see if it works, and if it worked good, awesome, do it again. If it doesn't work so good, maybe we consider it. Yeah. I've
been super shy with getting out and speaking. I really feel that holistic healthcare is the best. But that being said, I've been super shy with going out and meeting other healthcare professionals in our area, in Pukekohe and Papakura and South Auckland. And I feel that's going to be the kind of next step that I want to get into. I've already made contact with a few, but I'd like to expand that network. And we do have a bit of a referral system already in place, because we have Dr. Chris and Christina, and we've had previous associates as well. So everyone kind of has passed on their connections. Just getting out there and meeting them face to face is the next step for me. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're obviously someone who's constantly pushing themselves, constantly growing, constantly striving to be the best chiropractor in the world.
That's why I came down to New Zealand.
That's right. So how do you feel that the mission trips that you've done have helped you on that path?
My mission trips, I went...
And is there another one in the horizon that you're thinking about going on?
Oh, I would love to. When I was at NZCC, I went on 3. I went to Haiti and Dominican twice, and so 2 separate years. And then I went to Rarotonga with the group, with Ben and the crew. And I'm sure you can relate. Your skills, your hands-on skills, not only the adjusting side of it, but the analysis and just staying present with the patient when there's chaos going around you sometimes. You grow leaps and bounds. And it also puts things into perspective when you go into a third world country and ladies are giving you their babies saying, I can't provide anything for them, take them. And so it's not just the chiropractic that you experience when you go into those settings. I would love to do more. Right now, it's not a priority, but I would love to do more.
Sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm. So what was the... so then you're kind of saying it was perspective. Was that the biggest thing you kind of gained from those mission trips?
I think at the time, it would be my adjusting skills, to be quite honest. Because I was a chiropractic student and I hadn't put my hands really on anyone. Like we were allowed to do setups and checking, but I hadn't adjusted. And so those really gave me the confidence and the ability. And you're exposed to chiropractors and students from all over the world. And Diversified at NZCC is so different than Diversified at another college. And you learn new ways to adjust segments and just the problem solving of finding a subluxation and adjusting it the correct way or the most efficient way, or patient tolerance. Like there's so many factors. So I think my adjusting was the biggest thing that changed. There were so many things that changed on those trips, and I highly recommend trips to other people. But adjusting would be the main one.
That's cool. Well, I mean, from my perspective, having watched you, every time you came back, you were leaps and bounds above the rest of us in terms of adjusting skill. You were just, everything was smooth and easy, and you could do it all because you literally had done it hundreds of times more than us.
And that was the thing at college. Even though NZCC has some of the highest requirements for getting out of the chiropractic center, that sounds really bad, but you know what I mean, the requirements that you need to graduate, and you still get quite a number of adjustments. But I was on my first trip to Haiti and Dominican, I think I saw over 200 people, and then Raro is a little bit different. I think I saw about 50, and then I think the second time I went to Haiti and Dominican, it was up around 700 or 800 people. So that you can't compete. It would be very surprising to see someone who came back from one of those trips and they hadn't improved, because you are seeing so many people, and it for any new grads out there who are potentially going into practice with maybe insecurities about analysis or adjusting, I highly recommend go on a mission trip, get that confidence before you start seeing the public under no supervision from a mentor, depending obviously on in your office. But it helps a lot. Yeah.
Well, it's an experience where you get to grow.
Yeah.
And doing anything that helps you grow as a practitioner and a chiropractor, I think it's a massive benefit. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Very cool. So what's the short-term plan? What are you working on at the moment in terms of your practice?
Professional goals right now would be getting more comfortable with public speaking. So thank you again for having me on the show.
That's right. Practice.
Definitely public speaking. I wanted to do at least one talk before the end of the year, and now I've got like 3 or 4. So, which is amazing. Yeah, and practice growth, getting more people under chiropractic care so they can experience such a better life. I also want to publish a case study. I've been working on a concussion case study for a pediatric case with Dr. Cade from NZCC, and we hope to get that published pretty soon. So I've been working on that. So short-term practice growth, definitely, but also just, kind of looking at I want to get better with my technique. So it's kind of like the science, the art, just everything, really.
It's everything. Yeah. Well, it's early practice. You are constantly getting better at everything, I think. And every day is a bit of a new experience, right? Mm-hmm. You've never really done this before. So it's just a whole new world of,
oh man, so different.
What am I going to do today?
It's crazy. I was thinking the other day, it was just like, wow. If I think of my life in Canada, because I was working in forestry and then I was snowboarding like most of the year. So it's just so different from what I was doing. I look at pictures of me on the cut blocks and it's so different. It's amazing. And I'm sure it's the same for you. Like, so different.
Yeah. Who was I before chiropractic? I don't know. Yeah. I was a very different person. Yeah. So what do you do for fun at the moment?
What do I do for fun? Definitely, I'm a big nerd and playing Settlers of Catan with friends. It's a board game. Yeah, I will admit to that. No, I really love to hang out with friends and I've been going for walks at Chirosation, one of the beaches near my practice, just to clear the head, but have fun, nice time to reflect and get some fresh air and some exercise. So yeah, just trying to do as many healthy things, because I definitely noticed other people have mentioned this as well. When you're not feeling well, then you're not going to give the best to your patients, and you're probably not going to attract the best people, or maybe not even attract anyone.
Yeah. Well, certainly not. That's definitely what I went through for like the first 4 or 5 months of my practice.
Yeah.
I was so focused on, I just need more new patients. I want my practice to grow, and that just consumed my life.
Yeah.
And I just didn't do anything for fun. I didn't catch up with friends and have a good time and play board games and go for walks on the beach. And I mean, yeah, definitely my life at the time just became way harder. Everything just kind of sucked in this kind of downward spiral. And then definitely for me, starting this podcast, reconnecting with people again, and just interacting and doing things that are just for me, just for fun. And ever since then, my practice has grown. I've been having way more fun. There's way more laughter in my rooms.
Oh,
and it's
good.
just been so much better.
Yeah.
So I think it's such an important thing.
It is. Well, I'm happy for you that you're on the up and up.
That's right. Getting on is better. So before you said that you had the travel bug.
Yeah.
Have you lost the travel bug?
No, not at all. No, this year in December I was in Canada, and March I was in Japan, and July I was in Rarotonga. So yeah, I think it's definitely not gone at all.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So when's the next trip? Or is the wind going to blow you over there when it happens?
Who knows? Who knows? Right now I don't have anything planned. I've been just kind of set on this. I think I knew that I was going to be providing care this year once I got going. So the Raro trip was a little bit, it was for a family event. So it was a special occasion. It wasn't like, this is going to be a holiday. Whereas the Japan trip, that was a bucket list. I wanted to go snowboarding in Japan for years and years and years. So that was kind of my grad present.
Which looks so cool.
It was amazing.
Awesome.
It was amazing. And the December trip was to go back to Canada to see family.
Yeah.
So
which I think is important to do. And also probably take time as well. You just finished board exams, you'd kind of gotten through, and it was like, I need some away time.
Yes. Completely agree.
So just to kind of pick your brain, as a Canadian living in New Zealand, what would you give as advice for someone who was about to go walk a similar path as you? Someone who was going to move to the other side of the world, start this thing called chiropractic that they'd heard about from a physiotherapist friend or whoever, and just kind of suddenly fell in love with this whole concept of chiropractic. What would your kind of top pointers be? What should they do?
Well, if you have that little voice either in your gut or your head, just go with it and trust your instincts. Be really open to the possibility, but also make opportunities. Like, if you feel that, really find your strengths and your weaknesses and do what you love. For me, I guess a little bit of fell into, but I got involved with the school with, as you mentioned, the WCCS and the CSA after the first term, because I had taken a few years off, and I wanted to see if I could be in school, because I had a previous degree at UBC in exercise science, and I took 3 or 4 years off, and coming back to college I was like, wow, can I do this? I've been living in the bush. So for people who are coming across, really find your strengths and weaknesses, find out what you want to really focus on and what you want to get out of school. There's lots of people that kind of put their head down and just stayed in the library and did the books, and they didn't really experience the student life, and they didn't really experience traveling around the area. But that's okay for some people. And so again, it's really individual. And if you feel like, I want to be involved with politics, then go for it. If you want to be involved for sports chiropractic, get involved. But if you want to keep chiropractic separate from your family and your friends, and everyone is different, and they just have to be true to themselves. So I think just listening to voice, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, go with your passions.
And the wonderful thing about chiropractic is it is so diverse and offers so much freedom. You can follow whatever passion you have. And actually, in fact, as a profession, we need it.
Yeah.
We need that individuality because that's what makes us stronger and helps us grow.
I completely agree. I know I'm not the chiropractor for everyone. And I'm glad that there's chiropractors that are so different from me, because then those people who don't want to see me, they have options. And I get that. And it's just like choosing a mechanic or a dentist or any person in service. You want to be around people that you are, common interests, or just have a joke, and you got to find that right mix. So yeah, going back to the advice, it's
Follow your heart.
Yeah, do what you love.
Love it. And speaking of that, so I'm just want to kind of pick your brain and see if you are, because I know you do kind of travel with the wind and kind of play it by ear a little bit. But are there any long-term plans in terms of? I mean, this is more for like Canadian chiropractors who, maybe are really resonating with your story at the moment, and they've met a person they want to stay in New Zealand or stay in the country that they're at the moment.
Yeah.
What does the future hold for that? Do you feel like you will travel around the world? Do you feel like you go back and settle in Canada, start your own thing, your partner's home country, or is that all just up in the air, and do you just have unlimited options?
I love to leave options open. I think ever since I got really injured when I was 15, it kind of opened my eyes to you can only plan so much. So I know I'll be practicing chiropractic till the day I die. I know that, whether I have to change my technique as I go, but I know that chiropractic will be in my life. And I know that my passion, one of my life goals is I want to be snowboarding when I'm 80. So there's certain things that it's like, okay, I'm gonna do these things. But when it comes down to where I'm gonna be or who I'm gonna be around, my partner, he was always the one who said, "Oh, when we move to Canada." So my parents love him for that because he's kind of bringing me back to Canada. Yeah. But so I think we will end up in Canada, and I love that you've already talked to Scott, because I've already picked up some gems on the other episode with talking about starting practice in Canada, because there's some really interesting points that I hadn't considered. So thank you for interviewing Scotty.
That's why I did it.
And Scotty, thank you for...
Shout out. Good job, mate.
Shout out. So yeah, I think long-term, probably in Canada. Don't know. Have a happy, healthy life. Be with people that you love and do things that you love. Yeah.
Nice.
Definitely traveling in the future.
Yeah.
Snowboarding in the future.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I guess the nice thing, I mean, I didn't realize this, but Scott brought it up, is once you've been in practice for a few years, you don't have to sit part A. And you can go over there and just do the actual practice stuff.
It will be, I haven't decided, I should say we, my partner and myself, we haven't decided exactly when we're going over to Canada. With part A, as Scotty said, you don't have to do it if you've been in practice or licensed for 3 years. So when my partner finishes, I'll be licensed for 2 years. So it will be the conversation, okay, do we, hang out in New Zealand and for another year so I don't have to take the A, but then he'll still have to take them. So, but with board exams, they cost money and time and energy and everything. So who knows? We'll reassess close to the date, but right now, I think we're going to take them together in 2018 and probably move over 2018 or 2019. Yeah.
Good on you. Exciting times.
Yeah.
Very exciting times. So speaking of the future like that, then what's your vision for the future of chiropractic? And what role do you feel you play in it?
Ooh, that's a big question, man. What do I see for chiropractic in the future? Was that the first question? I see more and more people seeing the potential, using it as not only their healthcare, but their primary form of healthcare. Because there's just the confusion on why chiropractors adjust people. So better understanding from the public, and NZCA and other organizations are doing their best with updating the common perspective and the stereotypes. Heidi Havok and the research team at New Zealand College of Chiropractic, they are amazing, and they've been changing people's views, thought processes, and stereotypes, and just how adjusting the spine changes your brain. And so I think chiropractic in the future is exciting to see where it goes. What was the second question?
What role do you feel like you're going to play in it?
Providing the best care that I can. And I think if I'm true to myself, I think I will eventually get back into politics. I was attending the Alumni Association AGM at Lyceum, and I was really excited, and it sounds really nerdy, geeky, but I think I thrive in those conditions, and I think like to get back into that. I love problem solving, and I feel that there's a few areas that I can help, but yeah.
Well, there's quite a few problems out there, and if they can be solved, that would be a great thing.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So if people feel the need to reach out to you and contact you and get some advice or ask you any questions that they may or may not have, how would you like to do that?
They are most welcome to search me on Facebook. So facebook.com/Dr Bronwyn. You can find me through that. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me if you go to the Chiropractic Edge website. So just Googling. So there's a few different ways through social media and
touchdown.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Not too many redhead chiropractors named Bronwyn.
Exactly.
Bronwyn Hunt. So,
exactly. And I'll put your details in the show notes as well, so people can check it out there.
Cool.
Make it nice and easy.
Thank you.
And what is what resource are you using at the moment to grow as a chiropractor?
What do you mean by resource?
Like book that you're reading, podcast you're listening to, okay. YouTube clip that you just love that motivates you.
Yeah.
What thing are you doing at the moment?
I'm going to put a shout out to Vicky Kelly. Just released a book, Mindful 2.0. It's amazing. Everyone should get it. Heidi Havok's The Reality Check. Amazing. I'm reading The Referral of a Lifetime, and I'm struggling to remember who the author is, but that is a great book. There are so many just little things on the Facebook groups of all the chiropractic kind of pages that just pop up. There's so many things. I find that I do read quite a bit, and but yes, those are the ones that initially come to mind.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Any final words? Anything you want to say to budding young chiropractors out there who are about to hit the real world, so to speak, or hit the life of early graduation?
If they have any questions, please ask. You and me definitely are great resources. I'm sure if you had any students come to you, you'd do the same as me. Just,
of course.
Ask. Don't think you're the only one. And Ben, thank you again for putting this all together, because it's going to help a lot of new students or new grads or even old grads hearing just advice in the field.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously with this platform, I hope it continues to grow, and I'll start getting chiropractors who have been out in the field a lot longer on here as well. Yeah. So we can hear their stories.
That would be awesome.
Hear what they've been through as well.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Bronwyn, thank you so much for sharing today. I really appreciate it. I learned some new things as well. It was really nice.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. Thank you for all the support you've been showing this platform. If you have any ideas for future episodes, or you'd like to be involved, send me a message through the website or your preferred social media. For the resources mentioned in this episode, please check out the show notes or thechirosation.com. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave a comment on Facebook. Now go out there and start a Chirosation today.